friends. I just want to do something quick here, sort of show people how I farm Metamorph for the first week of League. A lot of people complain because there are some catalysts that are pretty rare um, to get from anywhere except for Metamorphs. Like lots of people run Simulacrum, something like that, to get a lot of Sextants, or not Sextants, catalysts. But there's only so much you can do because some of them they're just rare. They just don't drop. Um, And what you can do is farm Metamorph, because obviously, they're a Metamorph currency, so they're probably more likely to drop from Metamorphs. The problem is, Metamorphs are very, very tanky, and they take a lot of damage to bring down, which a lot of people don't have, and nobody wants to have to roll a bosser just to farm some catalysts. This league, I started with Poison Concoction and a Poison BV, which is notorious for sort of falling off against bosses, but being good at mapping. So you would think that something like Metamorph would be a bad choice, um, simply because, they're so tanky, I don't do a lot of boss damage, things like that. My build's a little bit better now, but I still wanted to tell people that there is a really easy way to just cheese the Metamorph. Um, and the solution to that is to run peer maps. Um, the reason you run peer maps is not necessarily because of the layout. The layout is alright. It's got one or two good cards that you can drop in here, especially in the league start. That can be pretty useful. But you do it because the boss room makes killing Metamorphs 100 times easier. It literally cannot be beaten in terms of raw efficiency killing a Metamorph. A lot of people would prefer to do something like City Square, where you get 3 unique bosses every time that you can then twin for a total of 6, which is smart because then you get more rewards because you get more unique Metamorph samples to build with. But that is not an option for everybody because not everybody has enough damage to do that. And for a lot of people, it's just a lot less money to spend 15 minutes at a time fighting 2 Metamorphs in every map. In a city square, it just takes so long. But there is a solution to that if you really want them, especially if you're in SSF. You're sort of locked into having to try and farm them. And that is to run the peer map. And as anybody who has ran a lot of lab before can tell you, or if you've just sort of researched how to survive the traps in lab, the traps do not deal a flat amount of damage. They deal a variable amount of damage that is based on your current maximum HP. So a Metamorph that has insane amounts of increased HP, whether it's from something like this Sextant that gives them 100% more life, or if you fully spec into Metamorph in the tree like I did at the start of the league, you can get 150% more life here. And there's these nodes right here which increase the rarity of organs that drop. Increased rarity means more mods on them, which means more Arc Nemesis, quote-unquote Arc Nemesis mods on them, which then make them even tankier. And you can probably see some of those right in here. That'll give him like more life and things like that. Evasive makes him tankier. Looks like there isn't, Chaos and Wither resistant would just brick my Poison VV build. Looks like there isn't any more extra life on here right now, but it doesn't really matter that much. So what you can do, it's 464 here, but there's another 150 on the tree you can get. You can get more rolled onto the map. You can get more rolled onto here. And obviously, if these were rare, he'd have even more life. So just ridiculous amounts of life and defense that just make him almost impossible to take down. But that doesn't matter because we're going to use these traps to kill him, because traps deal percent based HP. So we're just going to walk over here. Oh, he wants to hide in the corner. And then the trap will kill him. Trap made insanely short work of that. I'm literally a poison build. I don't have the greatest boss damage. I especially did when I was playing Poison BV, but it literally just doesn't matter because you're just going to bait him into the trap. And as I said, these are based on your max HP, so especially if you're a low max HP build, this is even easier for you. And you can just pick up the loot and leave. If you have higher max HP, like 5,000, 6,000, something as simple as a regen flask probably isn't going to cut it for you. Um, but you can get something like this that has increased duration and just flat regen. That will help. Consecrated ground around you, if you're on a Inquisitor, will also help you, or you can just use a sulfur flask while looting. Alternatively, most of the time, you're going to be able to just survive long enough to pick stuff up. But if you're worried about it, because it is annoying when you die, what you can do is you can have an aura swap so that you can turn one thing off and then turn a level 20 vitality on. This is a level 1 vitality, but you could have a level 20 vitality that you turn off grace and you turn on level 20 vitality while you pick loot up. Just push 2 buttons, pick up loot, good to go. Not a big deal. Alternatively, if you have the space, totems, especially for a lot of melee builds, you may already have totems like this anyway, especially if you're using Calm Spirit, just because a lot of people enjoy the regen totems. But you could use the Leech Totem, which you just summon the Leech Totem, and then you just throw a Desecrate around, and it just keeps on giving you HP. And then you can just stand in here for ages, just repeatedly leeching free HP to yourself. You can also use a Rejuvenation Totem, which is 356 life per second on a level 21, and that will help as well. But for the most part, if you have a little bit of regen, you're probably going to be fine. Just don't stand in the traps the whole time pointlessly. A gear swap like this is not something that I would prefer to do. But, if you're really desperate, especially if you're an SSF and you just really need to do it, why not? Go for it. But yeah, the traps they really are just like a meta way to just annihilate the Metamorph in a very short amount of time. And you can end up running these very, very quickly, especially if you have a high clear speed character like I did on Poison BV. You just fly through the map, kill the Metamorph with the trap, and drop a bunch of catalysts and stuff like that. So that's what I did. That's what I would do if you were having trouble and you really want to farm them. You save so much time letting the trap kill them. If you don't have as much damage, then you would, and saving that time allows you to run more of them in a shorter amount of time, which in the long run makes you more money than trying to farm something that is more rewarding per metamorph, like in City Square, where you get 3 organs. So that's what I did. That's what I recommend doing. Metamorph isn't for everybody, but if you really like it, that's the way to do it. It really works. It's very useful.